Jason, when it was time for you to call it quits, what's the number one thing in your mind you knew you were going to miss about the game?
I knew I was going to miss competing. You see, is Ellie in the background?
This is so funny.
Can you go upstairs, girl? No? Why not?
Is that the oldest one?
This is my second. You say hi. You say hi to the greatest receiver ever to play football. Say hi to Randy Moss. Are you guys going to pick up Wyatt right now? All right.
Hi, Randy Moss. So epic.
Hello, sweetheart. How are you?
All right.
Oh, that was gold, man.
Bye.
Man.
Love you, Uncle Taffy.
Okay, baby.
Nice.
Welcome back to New Heights, a Wondery show brought to you by Expedia, the one place you go to go places. You can go anywhere, and it helps you figure out everything else to do while you're on the go. And it's where you go to do that. We are your hosts. I'm Travis Kelce, my big brother Jason Kelce out of Cleveland Heights, Ohio, representing the US of A again. Subscribe on YouTube, Wondery Plus, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow the show on all social media at New Heights Show with one S. We got a bunch of fun clips throughout the week, and that's where I like to watch the show, is the fun clips. So make sure you follow us on all social media. And Jason is now going to tell the people that are listening to this show what we have coming up.
Howdy, 92%ers. We got another amazing episode for you guys. Responding to some of your fan mentions, and we're also going to build an NFL roster entirely out of dogs.
Ooh.
Oh, Randy Moss is here. That's right, baby.
Oh, you got Moss.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, straight cash, homie.
Before we get into that, let's get into a little bit of that new news.
Yeah, new news.
New news. We are pre-taping this one. I'm sorry, no real new news. Currently, we're on location grabbing some incredible guest conversation. Not saying who it is, but we might be one of the GOATs of a sport that you love.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I guess that's the new news.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Let's keep this thing moving into fan mentions. Fan mentions is brought to you by one of our favorite drinks of all time. I think Ed Kelce might be one of the top buyers of this drink, at least the diet version. It's brought to you by Pepsi. Shout out to Pepsi. All right. Here, NFL put out the NFL Combine then and nows. How about that? Look at these pictures. Golly, I was so fat.
You were fat? You're not fat in this photo. It's not the best photo, but
yeah, the old straight on where you could see the double chin.
How much did you weigh in that photo?
I was a good 268, I think. I'm not sure. What was my combine height and weight? I was 6'3", 7/8", and I think I was like 258 or something like that.
You're 6'4" and 7/8".
Yeah, 6'4", 7/8". Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way.
Just under 6'5".
Yeah.
Oh, man. Did you scroll down and look further?
Jesus, Jason, you forget the trimmer.
God.
Why do you look so different? Why is your nose so fucking thin?
Crooked? Dude, I look horrendous.
Why do you look like this?
I don't know. I look like I'm going to get
if
stopped
you showed
at TSA.
me that picture back in the day, I'd be like, that's not my brother.
That guy's getting strip searched for sure.
It's like the NFL purposely tries to get the most unflattering pictures of rookies.
I don't know that it would have mattered what angle they got at me. I think I was just an ugly son of a bitch.
You really grew into being a nice, handsome boy. So
That's
handsome.
right.
Look at you on the right there. You're all golden. Get some sun.
Yeah.
You've been at the shore.
Yes.
Yes.
Those pictures are always taken in the heat of summer. That first one on the left is February. That is a big difference.
February in Cincinnati, training for the job of your life.
Did you see the other guys they put out?
No.
I'll run through them real quick. Hold on.
Who else we got? Ooh, Josh Allen.
Jay Allen don't look too bad. Smooth cat
No.
right there.
No, looks more artistic now. Derrick
Similar,
Henry, exactly the
similar,
same.
young-
Don't see any difference at all.
Young King Henry.
Jetta.
Young Jetta.
A-Raj, not much
Yeah,
difference.
no.
Kind of has a Lloyd Christmas. Go back. Got the Lloyd Christmas going on there. A little.
Yeah, the straight across.
It kind of looks similar. All right. What do we got next?
Chill out. This guy will never age. He'll look like this until he's fucking 90 years
I
old.
think you're right. Burrow.
I mean, I
There.
feel like Joey Burrow, yeah, just again, another guy who probably trained up north, didn't get a lot of sun. Second one,
Right.
a little bit more sun. CMC, another guy's going to look the exact same until he's fucking 90 years old.
Kind of look like a military cadet.
Oh, Patty
Ooh.
Mahomes. Still looks the same. Still looks the
Not
same.
a big difference.
Looks
Not a
like
big difference.
he's got a $1 billion smile though. He's
Yeah. Much happier.
much
now.
happier man in Adidas gear now than he was in Under Armour back then.
Baker.
Bake still, yeah, Bake looks pretty similar. A little
Beard's
heftier of a
better now.
beard. Yeah. Oh, that boy.
Whoa.
George has just been growing his hair ever since. He just hasn't stopped growing his hair. G Kittle, man, what a dude. Fucking love that guy. Oh shit. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, good. Nice. Glad we look different.
There's one thing for sure is that at the combine, they take the most unflattering angle and lighting picture they possibly can.
Yeah,
to
especially
really boost that morale.
for us pale, white in the winter kind of guys. Yeah.
Yes. Let's move on to everyone loving Jason's content creator.
Oh
Let's see.
yeah, you are. I'm telling you, you're fucking crushing it with the content right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Click this link real quick, Brandon.
I think Jason Kelce is quickly becoming one of my favorite follows on TikTok because everything he posts, it just kind of feels like either a grandpa decided to record a video and maybe did it on accident and then posted it, or a toddler took his mom's phone and is running around filming everything and just posting it without editing it. Like his last video I saw was him just like taking the subway. That's it.
It's like those progressive commercials where it's like you're slowly turning into your parents and they're trying not to let you do it.
I mean, I feel like a grandpa using TikTok. I really do not get it one bit.
You got to be a special, like, to be really like good at it, you got to be a special version of person, I think. And you're a very special version of somebody.
I think I got it down.
You're authentic, and that's what people fucking love the most about you in terms of the content you create. I'm not gonna lie, I'm right there with them, dude. I fucking die laughing at everything you do, whether it's riding the subway or creating a garage beer commercial about beer powder. It's fucking gold, man.
The subway was fun. It was a great subway. I thought it was a fun video. I don't know.
And it was fun, and you knew exactly what you were doing. You knew what the people wanted out of you.
Kylie was like, will you fucking stop? Like, if you have any idea how long it took me to make that dumbass video.
That's the one thing I'll always feel so fucking dumb, man. There was a point early on in my career when like the reels and everything really started getting going, and I would make them, and then I wouldn't make them, and then I would just do one because I felt like I had to keep it going. And then it was just, there was so many like stories that I just felt were so pointless. And some of the shit I was doing was so pointless. And I just felt dumb doing it. And you're clearly having a blast with it. It's the best, dude. Not feeling dumb is like one of your superpowers.
Oh no. I mean, I feel dumb all the time. I feel dumb wearing this hat right now.
It looks great.
Just embraced it.
From our New Heights Reddit page, our fantasy forfeit this year. All right. Recreating the GQ shoot for a calendar. This is fucking hilarious.
Nice. I mean, that's fucking pretty damn good.
I mean, you just got it fucking down pat.
Yeah, man. He's got the head tilt, all of it.
He's got the chest hair. He's got the gut. He's got the sloppy tits. He's fucking great, dude.
Very nice. Very nicely done. No AI allowed. Love that. We're based in Glasgow, Scotland.
Oh, Scotland. Nice.
Nice.
Dude, to try and find somewhere in Scotland that resembled that
like
exact
Florida.
shot. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty good right there.
Well done. Very well done. Alrighty. And yeah, I got a shout out from The Simpsons. How about this, Trav? Did you see this?
No, I did not. Can you please?
I mean, I didn't get a shout out. They just like mentioned my existence, which
that's a shout
was
out in my
crazy.
book. That's a shout out in my book. We fucking grew up in the heart of The Simpsons, man. Not that it's not still the heart of The Simpsons because they're still rolling, but
Awesome things for me to do in Philadelphia. Eat cheesesteaks, hoagies, pretzels, water ice, rip off a piece of Jason Kelce's beard.
ah, nice, dude. You're just gonna have random people coming up to you trying to fucking yank your
rip
beard
my
off.
If it's Marge or anybody with the symptoms, or I'm in.
That's pretty good right there.
All right, that does it for fan mentions. Brought to you by Pepsi.
All right, let's get into this Randy Moss interview, baby. Straight cash, homie.
I've never been more excited. Here we go. Our guest today is 6'4" wide receiver from Rand, West Virginia. He's a 4-time All-Pro,
baby.
6-time Pro Bowler, the 1998 Offensive Rookie of the Year, and the 2007 Comeback Player of the Year. He holds the record for the most receiving touchdowns in a single season. He's second all-time in career touchdowns, fourth all-time in career receiving yards, and he is a member of the 2018 class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Just a legend.
We didn't pay him to come on our show, but if we did, we'd be using straight cash, homie. That's right.
Straight cash, homie. Let's go.
92%ers, please welcome Randy Moss.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Thanks for having me, man. You crazy, dude. You got me ready to play again.
Hey, that's all I'm trying to do. Get them juices
We
revved
know
up.
you could go out there and break somebody off, man. You already know. Just throw it up, baby. Just throw it up.
Thanks for having me on, guys, man. I know y'all got the #1 podcast out there, and you know, I really don't do many podcasts, right? But but y'all two, the brothers, the realness of what y'all done put on the field and off the field, yeah, I gotta come and show y'all some love, man. So thanks for having me on.
That's why you're the realest, big guy. We can't thank you enough. You already know you're an absolute legend in the NFL, and even more so just being you. Everybody has seen the personality kind of come out since the NFL. And it's so cool to have you on this show with us, man, because you guys, the legends that we grew up watching and everything, getting you guys on this show is like taking me back to my childhood, and like I'm living out a dream I didn't even know was possible, man. So I appreciate you joining us today, brother.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's the personality off the field, like the entire essence of Randy Moss. I mean, you are the greatest highlight player in the history of the NFL. Like, is there anybody else that has better highlights than Randy Moss? There's an entire catch anytime somebody goes up and gets it.
You got Moss.
If you're talking about my position, no. But if you're talking about players that ever played the game, I mean, I think Barry Sanders was a human highlight reel. But you know, you're talking about my position. No, but at the same time, guys, you know, just being able to stay grounded, keep myself grounded, and it was really about the work you put in, you know, and you know, a lot of people, you know, don't really understand my background in the sport of basketball, and
okay,
and the thing that I've always tried to tell people, Jason, was that, and Trav, I've seen it in your game. In the field of play, you know, where you have 50, 60, 70 yards to go before you score, that's when I use my quickness, you know, my elusiveness and my speed. But once you get down to the red zone, it's all about boxing out, body placement, going up and get the rebound. So that's where I put the game of basketball into my game. And that's why I say if you put in the hard work, then hard work pays off. So like I say, the plays that I make, hey, I put the work in to be able to make those plays.
We can't talk hoops without talking about your West Virginia days in high school, rocking with Jason Williams, man.
Yeah.
Legendary duo. Growing up, did you guys both know that you guys had like something special, that both of you were going to go pro in your respective sports?
Me and Jason, like a quick short story. Jason, while we were in elementary school, we played, I think, 2 years of Pop Warner against one another. And Jason was a phenomenal football player, phenomenal athlete. And every sport that I played, Jason played, or every sport he played, I played. The only sport Jason really didn't play or do was track. As far as baseball, basketball, and football, you know, he excelled at all three of the sports just like I did. And you're talking about honorable mentions, all conference, and things like that. Jason was that type of athlete, but I think he got kind of discouraged my sophomore year, his junior year, where the quarterback was already sort of in place. So he could really focus on basketball. So that was like Jason's last year of playing football was his 11th grade year or his 10th grade year. So we played AAU basketball. We traveled the country with one another. But I think the craziest moment for me was just playing against a lot of these former NBA players that we played against in middle school and in high school. And then, of course, that I branched off and made it to the NFL. But just seeing some of the guys that we played against in AAU excel on a professional level. So that was kind of like some crazy, surreal moments at the same time.
That's so dope, man. It's awesome. It's awesome you were talking about the crossover. Guys like Devontae Adams talks about how in his routes he's thinking as if he's like
on the court,
a ball handler on the court.
Right.
And his quickness and how he switches up his tempo to make it seem more effective and more fluent. And it's awesome to hear you say that, because I think a lot of guys get caught up in high school and And even younger parents are trying to get them to just focus on one sport. But
they specialize too
me
early.
and Jason are huge on big advocates on making sure you get out there, play all the sports, get an understanding of the hand-eye and all these different sports, and not focus on them until after I don't know, middle school or high school, or whichever one you choose to prolong in college.
There's carryover for sure. You learn from one sport, you can take it and you can apply it to another one. Like, I feel like I'm a better O-lineman because I did 2 years of wrestling in middle school.
Right.
Now, I don't know if that's real or not, but you learn about leverage when you wrestle.
No doubt.
Randy, he was the one you didn't want to fucking see out there, man.
I can only imagine.
This guy had pimples all over his face. As soon as you start wrestling with him, the pimples are popping and like the blood or pus is coming down his face. Like, you know,
fucking guy.
Oh, man, where's the rubbing
after? Sweating his ass off. He's the sweaty, just mess, and he's just
purposely not wearing deodorant. I'm going to make you feel me. I'm going to make you
he's a nasty son of a buck, man.
Athletes should leave their options open, because like you said, Jason, that you say that your position at center where leverage is very important. It's like you really can hang your hat on, man, if I wouldn't have done wrestling, then my game would have been what as a professional. So, I mean, like you said, you've been able to take another sport and then put it into your professional sport. Hey, man, that says a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it works for all of them. Like, I mean, basketball definitely feels like the most applicable, especially if you got ball skills, complete athleticism, most of the best receivers, tight ends. I feel like a lot of those guys were hoopers growing up. It just feels like there's a big carryover. But I do want to go back a little bit to those days with Jason Williams. What is it about guys from West Virginia? I golfed with this dude and had the most fun outing of my life at the Jerome Bettis Golf Outing this past year. Feels like you're the same way. It feels like Nick Saban, even hearing him talk, like there's a authenticity and a realness that I don't even know how to describe it, but it feels like I love everybody that I meet from West Virginia, and I don't exactly know why. What is it about West Virginia that it feels like guys that come out of it, like they're not trying to be anything. They're very grounded in who they are. They're proud of who they are, and they don't take shit from nobody. That's pretty much the vibe I get from everybody I'm ever with.
That is us. But to answer your question, I just think that if you come from humble beginnings, I think that really what keeps a person grounded. And I think that everyone that I've seen from West Virginia, all the celebrities, just being humbled and keep it grounded, because one of the biggest things that I said in my Hall of Fame speech back in 2018, just growing up and nobody caring about who I was or who we were. I grew up in an unincorporated community, and still to this day, my community is still unincorporated. So I just think that, being able to grow up in some real, type of surroundings and understanding what's real in life. You learn that at a very young age coming out of the state of West Virginia, and not just where I'm from in the county. I just think as the whole state as a whole. And what you see is what you get. So I know there's a lot of people, struggling back at home. And, that's one of the things that really kept me grounded, guys, of, going back and doing charity events and going back home. I even took my Hall of Fame jacket back home. And the reason why, because I wanted to give the kids something real to see, something real to touch. And it's like back where you guys are from, it's like when you see the Kelce brothers, on television playing, winning Super Bowls, now you're seeing them, endorsing themselves. It's kind of like when you go back home and seeing people that you grew up with or their children and things like that. So I just want to be able to give hope to people, that grew up like I did. So I just think that, it just answers your question about people being from West Virginia. I know what it's like. I know what it's like, when it comes to hard times. And that's something that I never forget, and I try to relay that message, throughout my whole life.
I love that, Randy. That is so good.
We got to get into a little bit of a story that Julian Edelman told us.
All right.
Our guy, friend of the show. You played with him as a rookie. I couldn't imagine having a better vet than the Randy Moss in the building. And he said you nicknamed him Edelnut.
Edelnut. That's Edelnut. Well, he came in.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know where Edelnut, Edelman. I know it just sounds crazy, but all the comedy and jokesters in the locker room. You just try to find humor day to day just to get your day by. He tells a story about me being on the phone with, he calls it Mama Moss, and just briefly, I grew up of course, in Rand, West Virginia. And, my mom, we grew up in the church and, I grew up a drummer. And so
Okay.
Okay.
when it comes to, profanity and things like that, my mom being the Christian she is, she doesn't want any swearing going on nowhere around her. So,
Mm-hmm.
at
Okay.
that
Okay.
time, I'm in the locker room and Julian's behind me cussing. I forgot who he was talking to, but he was being loud. But he seen me on my phone and I was smiling and I was basically telling him to, be quiet, to hold on. And I'm on the phone. And then he was like, "Oh, what? I'm a man." I said, "Dude, who cares?" So it was like one
Not
of
my
those
mom.
crazy moments that I would hear later from my mom. "Randy, who was that in the background swearing?" I was like, "Oh my God." So that was like one of those crazy moments that I had to hear from my mama later on in life, who was in the background swearing. So that's where that moment came from. But it was actually a crazy moment at that time.
That's awesome.
When you saw Julian come in, because he was a quarterback at Kent State, man, did you see something in him immediately? Like, did he have that it factor when he walked in the building?
The thing about New England and how they were running their offense, about before I became a Patriot, you look at all those small, shifty receivers. You have the small
Welker.
shift. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
the small shifty running backs. They had a guy like Kevin Falk, and then they brought in
Yeah.
later Sweet Feet White and those other guys. But then,
Yeah.
just looking at the past before I became a Patriot, they had a guy by the name of Troy Brown. Went to Marshall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I studied his game.
Two-way player.
I was a big fan of his, and I was just looking at I think Troy was coming off a knee surgery. So we bring in myself, we bring in Welker and Edelman at the same time. So they're trying to figure out, where they can put Julian Edelman coming out of Kent State as a quarterback. So all the gadget plays they knew they had in Julian. But I just think being a Swiss Army knife of getting in and out of cuts, he had to learn that. And I didn't have a problem throughout a 14-year career teaching a guy the game. I think it's the more the better it helps you as a
Oh,
team.
yeah.
And so I really didn't have a problem with Edelman or anybody teaching them the game. And I think that I just saw, his speed, his swiftiness, but at the same time, you guys know as a young rookie, his willingness to want to learn the game. So
Yes.
that's really what took me over the top with him. And then he tells a story about me giving him money to feed the guys. And your late draft picks, some guys may be a undrafted,
Oh,
free
yeah.
agent, but they still got to chip in to feed the veterans. So I just thought at that time, and I don't know how much he was making, but that's always been my heart, just for the guys. And you know how the vets get, you know how we get.
The vets will be ruthless.
Especially y'all, the old linemen, the donuts, the food, whatever's not there, you guys will go crazy. So that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking about.
That's right. Well, that's awesome, man. All right, let's flash it back a little bit to West Virginia again. All right. So you're 1994 West Virginia Player of the Year in football. Also won the West Virginia Player of the Year in basketball twice.
Woo!
You said you were more of a hooper. At what point did it transition? Did you know football was the future?
The summer of '94, Nike used to run a camp where they invite the best players around the country to a remote location and just ball for the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, Jason was, he's a year older than me, and I always played a year up. Most guys do when it comes to like AU and things like that. So,
Right.
so the following year, I went to the Nike camp. I got the invite. Me and another guy by the name of Gene Neighbors ended up going to LSU playing point guard for them. And speaking of Gene was the only guy that I ever seen give Jason fits as a point guard.
Oh,
They
interesting.
used to go at it. And if you ever ask Jason, say, Jason, did you and Gene Neighbors used to go at it? Yeah, they used to go at it. So I go to Nike camp and, I'm sitting up there not really feeling good about it because I'm seeing, Kevin Garnett. I'm just seeing guys, 6'7", 6'11", 7-footers. And so I'm sitting up
Damn.
here asking myself, can I compete? Do I belong here? So at the time, we were sitting here talking about, keeping your options open of playing all the sports you can actually play. Well, I was a seasonal athlete, just like maybe you guys were. Whatever season it was, that's what sport I played.
Of
Yes.
course.
Those guys like Kevin Garnett, there was a guy by the name of Ron Mercer out in Tennessee, ended up playing for the Chicago Bulls. All those guys were all year-round gym rats. So that year, we ended up playing the team out of California that had the number one ranked underclassman by the name of Shea Cotton. You don't believe me?
Okay.
You can
Shea
Google
Cotton.
it. There's only been
Shea Cotton.
Shea Cotton. There's only been 3 phenoms in the history that I've been living. Moses Malone, Shea Cotton, LeBron James. Them the only 3 phenoms that I've ever, heard about. I've seen
yeah.
2 of them. I didn't see Moses back when he was in high school, but I seen LeBron and I seen Shea, and he was a
Okay.
phenom. But anyways, we play them. He's a left-hander. Well, he embarrasses me. I come back. Yeah, I mean, he totally
He's just straight up.
totally
All right.
embarrassed me. This guy is an underclassman, but he's the number 1 rated player in the country. But like I say, Kevin Garnett was the number 1 rated player because he was a senior that year. Shea was, I think Shea was maybe a sophomore that year, but he's the number 1 player. Anyways, I get embarrassed. So then I'm already feeling a certain type of way. Well, we get a rain delay. I'm on a court. Kevin Garnett's out there playing. So me and him somehow get into a one-on-one match. I asked Kevin, does he remember this? And he kind of looked at me. I was like, well, Kevin, I got great memory. I remember this story.
I remember like it was yesterday.
using my speed with basketball, guys, I try to get to the rim and try to lay it up as high as I possibly could over the white box. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, you got to be up there.
Kevin Garnett gets up on the basketball, Jason, and pins my ball with the palm of his hand. So I'm already feeling discouraged from Shea Cotton and what he did to me. And now Kevin Garnett did this to me. So then when I go back home, they said, hey, man, you went to Nike Camp Moss. How did it go? I said, football player. That's what I'm going to be.
I said, man, I'm ready for football.
Yes, I am. And that is really a true story. I'm putting a little bit of humor into it, but at the same time, that was a true story that what happened to me that really changed my mind of playing basketball. And then it's like, dude, I don't even think I can compete with those guys. So let me stick to football.
That is amazing.
That's such a good story. KG ended up going straight to the NBA from there, right?
Well, yeah, from high school, but see, the thing about it, it was kind of crazy because we had a couple nights out where we seen each other. And of course, we supported one another. We ended up taking the iconic picture together. But like
Legendary.
I said, I just told, just Kevin, just more of the things that when you grow up playing against certain guys, I get fueled. I was fueled in hype, seeing other guys that I played and competed against to make it to the next level. And that's when I started, when I got to college and seeing Kevin on that level. And I was like, hey, man, I could really compete.
Yes.
And I remember going to Florida State my freshman year, coming out of West Virginia where the talk is, we don't breed athletes. And if you do, they don't compete. So I think that I had a lot of questions about my game at Florida State. But then I left Florida State, went to Marshall, and I had a lot of confidence. And the reason why I had a lot of confidence because a lot of the guys professionally came back to Florida State and trained. Trav, you'll love this one. So during the off season, everybody they're beating on my door. Country boy, come on outside.
Everybody wanted the smoke.
So I'm sitting up here like, what's going on? Hey, man, the pros are out here training. Come and get some. So, it was guys like Devin Bush, senior. He was still in the National Football League. He went to Florida State. Just a lot of the past guys that made it because Florida State was putting athletes in the league like right and left. So I get out there and those guys are talking, oh, you're the country boy I hear about. Well, anyways, I go out there and embarrass those guys. I handle my business. And then and then right after that, the spring comes. I have a great spring, and then I go back to West Virginia, serve some jail time, and end up getting, thrown out of Florida State. But anyways, getting back to the story of the confidence factor of being able to have the confidence coming from Florida State, and then from the AAU basketball court to Florida State, seeing guys drafted that I played with at Florida State, seeing guys drafted that I played AAU ball against. You're talking about confidence and not looking back. And then also the trials and tribulations of this, coming from the state of West Virginia. Dude, it was destined for me to really get out there and just grit my teeth and just go get it.
That's
Heck
awesome,
yeah, man. Heck yeah.
That's such a good story. From one flip side to a Nike invite to realizing that, this might not be the thing. And then on the other flip side, going down to Florida State and realizing like, oh yeah, I got something over here.
Right.
That's a dope dynamic.
I feel the same way because a lot of times people ask, like, when did you know you could go to the NFL? It's like, I kind of started knowing once I saw guys go and I was playing against them. It was the same way in college. Like, I'm like, man, am I good enough to play in college? And then I'm playing against Thaddeus Gibson over at Euclid. And I'm like, I can compete with Thaddeus. And he was committed to Ohio State. So I feel like I'm right there. And then all of a sudden you're in college and you see guys that you're teammates with go, and you're like, okay, I might get a shot at this thing. And what was it like? You just mentioned going from Florida State, going back to West Virginia, Marshall. What was that like?
It was hard for me, guys. And the reason why is because what I struggled with, as far as my upbringing, then got into that high school, fight, getting sentenced to some jail time. And, it's kind of like that, throughout my whole life. I think a lot of the people around the state seen my talents and, wanted me to be a Mountaineer. And, I followed the Mountaineers. They, competed against Notre Dame in the national championship in the late 80s. So, I've always followed the Mountaineers. I followed Marshall, in the divisions that they were in and the players that they even put in their program. But I just always wanted to get out, Jason, and just being able to get out and then coming back home, it was kind of crazy to me. And like I said, being able to see those guys pull up in the Lexus and the Mercedes and seeing a lot of things that I didn't see growing up. So when I came back home, it was kind of depressing for me because I kind of failed myself. Yeah. And I think that being able to get an opportunity to play football again, I got with Marshall. I had a great group of guys as far as my teammates. Just being able to uplift me in certain situations and certain moments. We went undefeated my first year, so I think that a lot of the stuff that I took from Florida State, I took to Marshall, man. And like I say, the rest is history. You can look at the record books, you can look at the scoreboard, the stat sheet. So like I said, man,
that's right.
So I just took a lot, from Florida State, but at the same time, like I told you, what fueled me to go out there and try to make it to the top. I didn't want to take that little bump in the road, going back home to Marshall. I just took that as another opportunity to go reach my goal.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, it worked out.
Heck yeah, it did. Some of the most iconic college highlights of all time, man. I mean, you throw on that Randy Moss highlight tape over at Marshall, man. It's epic, dog. I love that shit. And that was back in the AstroTurf days.
Oh my God.
What was it like playing on AstroTurf every single home game or every single week?
Well, the thing about it is I played on AstroTurf a lot in high school too. So it was kind of like I played in AstroTurf in high school. I played on AstroTurf in college. And then when I got drafted to the Minnesota Vikings, they were on AstroTurf. So it was kind of like you had to understand how to play on it, because if you don't understand how to play on it, it could really, as far as the cutting, as far as the joints on your knees, and then also the scrapes and cuts on your body. I mean, I don't really know my degrees as far as burns, first, second, or third degree, but I've seen a man on game day to have his whole arm stripped from here all the way down to his wrist, and it was
like
pure,
Velcro, man.
And it was pure white.
Oh my gosh!
Flesh.
So like I say,
flesh.
I had to learn. Like I said, I had to learn how to play on it, but at the same time, just being able to make the transition to the grass or the field turf. I mean, I enjoyed every moment of it though, because I played on the worst.
One stadium in that we played in high school, Lakewood High School, and that was only really the only chance I ever had to play on AstroTurf. But when you came in the league, you had all fields. It was AstroTurf. It was
baseball
regular
fields,
and then it was baseball fields.
Yeah.
Like you were playing on the infield, you were playing on Astro. Like that's such a crazy dynamic.
We complain about field turf now. And it's like, man, guys were playing on carpet and running on a mound. They were running to second base out there.
I'm gonna tell you one of my craziest moments. Of course, I don't think I've ever won in Philly. But
really?
they used to have a wall in the visitors' locker room. Did you ever hear about that wall?
I don't think I've heard about this.
All the former players, and I don't even know how far it goes back. I know it's back in the 70s. I mean, you got from Walter Payton, Refrigerator Perry. You got all the guys. Well, anyways, when they come into the visitors' locker room at the old vet, we would sign this wall. And you could sign it whatever you would want. We're going to kick y'all's whatever, Randy Moss, whatever it is. So Walter Payton being, my favorite player growing up, I signed my name near his. I mean, I saw Jerry Rice's. I
Oh,
seen
now
all
that's
these
cool.
players that are in
That
the
is so
visiting locker
awesome.
room. You can sign this wall. You can say what you want, and then put your autograph on it. Then I said, well, what did they do with the wall when they built the new stadium? I don't know, but that was one of the craziest moments going into the vet.
Oh, we got to find that wall. There's no way they let that get out of there.
I can't believe this has got to be, this is in somebody's basement. And
Hey,
they're doing a good job keeping it a secret.
yes,
That's what's happening.
they couldn't have demolished it with all the autographs and all the history. Just on, it was a brick. It was just a brick wall that was kind of like holding up the stadium. I say over 100, 150 athletes on that wall.
That's crazy.
I can't believe they didn't incorporate it in the new stadium. They should, like, it should be enshrined. I gotta figure this out.
Yeah, really.
All right, you mentioned playing with the Vikings.
Right.
You get draft. First of all, what was draft day like? We ask everybody who got draft, like, what was that process like?
My draft day was kind of crazy because of the expectations that I had that I was going to be a Cowboy. And
wow.
Okay.
I just
I didn't know this. All right.
Now I told you about my background, about my mom being in church, a Christian, and my mom was, really into church. She really wasn't into sports. You know how you guys take that visit to a team and then they host you or whatnot, Well,
top
Dallas,
30.
Dallas was a little different. They hosted a lot of players. They didn't host you, individually. So I come back home, thinking that I'm going to be a Cowboy. So I come back telling everybody in my hometown. I tell my mom, and then my mom is like, okay, son, if you say you're going to be a Cowboy, then you're going to be a Cowboy. So I remember on draft day sitting there, you got the ESPN camera there in the house that I was in. And I remember my mom sitting there with a Bible on her lap. And it was kind of crazy because I was like, okay, mom, you here? I know you're over there praying, but it's kind of weird that my mom's here in this sport type of moment. And so when I tell her I'm going to be drafted and the 8th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Greg Ellis, and that was my, supposed to be selection. And so, like I said, I seen my mom's, energy and facial expression, and then I was feeling a certain type of way. So I just think that, I know there's more to this and we don't have time for it, but you guys, you two, the Kelce brothers, you guys don't understand as far as there's been a lot of blood as far as the family blood that goes through the National Football League. But I think is being successful as a pair of brothers, man, I think that's really what I tip my hat and commend you guys for, because that's really hard to do. You got one brother over here having success. You got another brother. You guys are really competing against each other. But at the same time, you still have the love. So anyways, my brother played for the Minnesota Vikings before I was drafted. He went to Ohio State. He backed up Corey Pace and Corey Stringer and Orlando Pace. And so my brother called me first. He's like, hey, man, Coach Green wants to talk to you. And I was like, man, I'm not really into it. Oh, Randy, we're going to draft you. Okay, whatever. So because I was, like I said, man, I was already depleted from, not getting, the 8th overall pick. So when it came to the Vikings pick, they picked me up. And then all of a sudden, I get the call and I'm like, thanks, coach. You won't regret this. All I want to do is just play football, man. It's been a bumpy 24-hour road for me. I was an emotional wreck. I was like, coach, I just want to play football. That's all I want to do. So I go back that night, get ready to get on my plane, and I ended up breaking my ankle. So if you ever look at my rookie trading card, you'll look at me and Dennis Green on a practice field, and I have an air cast on my foot because on draft night, I had to get my mind away from not getting drafted. I went and played basketball and broke my ankle.
Broke the ankle?
Yeah, broke my ankle.
What?
So I, hobbled through an airport, went through Chicago O'Hare, hobbled. They seen me jumping. They went and got a wheelchair for me, took me to my gate, and then all of a sudden I went to Minnesota. They got me the gate, brought me to the coaches, and first thing they done to me was took me straight to the doctors and put the boot on me.
What did they say?
They can't say that. They knew my history. They knew my background. So I mean, it's like okay, things happen. So like I said, man, it was like it was a crazy moment. But like I said, just being able to get drafted. My brother called me and was just like the Minnesota Vikings want to. So me being up there in Minnesota for my first couple years, man, I had my brother with me.
Man, that's so cool, man.
You got your revenge on the Cowboys.
Oh.
Talk about Thanksgiving. What was that game like? Did you know coming into it you were going to go off for that much?
No, I really didn't. I think that how you sit at home as a kid and you see all the athletes like score a touchdown, and all of a sudden the camera goes right to that athlete. And I know both of you guys have done it because I've seen it. Hi, Mom. You know how you am I right?
Yes, no
Okay.
doubt.
Every time
no
you know
doubt.
it.
So my biggest thing was being on that stage, Thanksgiving Day. I just wanted to say, hi, Mom. That's all I wanted to do. So that game, we're in the cold tub because we just played on Sunday. Y'all guys know how important the cold tub is.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't want to get in the cold tub, but the veterans forced me in there, and I went up and having those 3 catches, that iconic game. But I think for me, just going up there, just being able to ignore the noise of seeing familiar faces, because I remember when I took that trip before the draft, I seen some faces, as far as the recruiting and the scouts and things like that. So me going out there just seeing some familiar faces, I had to be able to ignore that, but at the same time put my focus on going out here and having a great game. But then out of all the things that I'll say this, with that game, with my mind being everywhere, my wide receiver coach, God rest his soul, Hubbard Alexander, and Chris Carter, Jake Reed, our wide receiver core 3D. We all stayed together that game. And it was my rookie year. I mean, I know my coming out party was the Green Bay Monday night, but that game against Dallas, guys, it was kind of like, it was so emotional. And it was kind of, we've all been in a zone before, where you think like every block I'm going to get and there's no ball that I'm going to drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
For
sure.
That game right there, I know it was just three balls thrown my way, but I was like, dude, I was in the zone that day, and I was going to not let anything stop me.
3 balls for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a heck of a day, right?
I hang my hat on that one.
One of the producers is a Cowboy fan, grew up in Texas. He has this in there. I got to ask, and we know you're involved to Boulder. Do you still have that same game if Deion's playing?
Probably. Yeah, probably. Because the thing about it, quick crazy story. I got to tell you this, guys, and the guy the Cowboy fan, you're going to be sick at this story. Real quick. When I get to Dallas, I'm already sitting up here wondering about what is my day going to be like. Okay, so I come down to the lobby, and one of the security guys tells me, he said, "Hey, Randy, you're not going to come to dinner tonight. There's Mr. Jones sent the limousine to get you, and the limousine is going to take you over to Primetime's house." And I'm like, I've never met Deion Sanders. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know, crazy. So that night, crazy. I go to Deion Sanders' house. He tells me, the story of, hey man, I'd love to play with you. Jerry Jones wants you. He wants me to talk to you. So guys, there was no way that I was leaving Dallas that, in my mind, I was believing that I was going to be a Dallas Cowboy. So
that is crazy.
What a pump fake, man.
Right?
Yeah, for the pump fake. So back to what you were saying, it had nothing to do with if Deion was playing or not. One thing that I'll tell you, that Chris Carter was always up for the big games that we played, the big guys. Like we had Aeneas Williams, Hall of Fame brother out of Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Played him. We played James Hasty and Dale Carter, cornerbacks out of Kansas City. At the time, they were both Pro Bowlers. So being a veteran player, he always used to tell me about, hey, man, you got to be worried about this one. You got to worry about this one. I remember talking about Deion. And he was like, I don't know if he's going to play, but if he does, you got to watch out for this. You got to watch out for that. So I was just up to the moment of my rookie year, knowing it was Thanksgiving, everybody talking about me and Deion Sanders. And I was like, man, I can't not worry about Deion. That's how focused I really was, guys. I really was focused that game.
Was there a DB throughout your entire career that you kind of like give the tip of the cap to, that he always made your job just that much harder?
Yeah, and I'm not ashamed to say his name. Darrelle Reeves was a gnat. Yeah. Darrelle, he was just a gnat. I mean, and the thing about it, what was you going to ask me, Jason? What made him good?
Yeah, because it wasn't like he was like this crazy, like fat. Like, I mean, he was, but what made him so good at corner?
I mean, without stating the obvious, guys study, they study techniques, they study, formation, things like that. But by him being not as fast as, a Champ Bailey or Deion Sanders, the man was athletic beyond, when I say athletic, if you study a guy like Darrelle Reeves, go back to his highlights back when he played basketball in the state of Pennsylvania. Okay.
Ooh,
okay.
Do some homework. Yeah.
Okay. So when I go back to do my studying, I already went back to his high school looking at his skill set because I remember the release. I did a release his rookie year. And then the second year I came back, I tried to do the same release and I'm like, oh my God, he got it. So it was kind of more like he did his homework on me. Now it's time for me to do mine, which I thought I did. But I had to really go into my study mode with a guy like him because he was so good. And I just think that the way he knew how you stepped, how he knew body language, along with having a great defensive coordinator and a guy like Rex Ryan, and then later on going to, Bill Belichick's defense. So like I said, Darrelle Revis was a gnat. He studied, but I think one of the things that he really didn't get credit for was how good of an athlete he was, just not as a cornerback, but the man was a hell of a guard too.
Heck yeah.
When I got to go up against him, he was so stout and strong.
He had great patience.
He never opened his hip. It was crazy.
Do you remember the time when they took you out of the 3-point stance and they let you get out here and line up at that wide receiver?
Oh, yeah.
Well, because the crazy thing about it was, Travis, kind of like we knew, as football fans, like, hey, this man right here can play some football. So then all of a sudden, now they detach you from the tackle and let you get out there in the 2-point stance, and then you really get to see how shifty you were as a player. And now I went, Jason.
Yes, you did. That was a perfect impersonation right there.
You don't look at the shoulders. You're going to get lost.
Right.
You're going to get lost in the shoulders.
Being able to go against certain guys like, a Charles Woodson, a Champ Bailey, a Darrelle Revis, a lot of that stuff was important because of if they do their study and learn how to be patient at the line, you'll definitely have success against most wide receivers in today's game and past.
I love it. We usually ask, what is your welcome to the NFL moment? But you made the Pro Bowl your rookie year and we're second team all pro. It doesn't sound like you had a welcome to the NFL moment. That was like, I guess it was the Cowboys game. I guess it was the Green Bay or Cowboys game. Like, there were positives. It wasn't, my welcome was like facing off against Ray Lewis for the first time. I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm trying to block Ray Lewis.
Ooh.
Do you have any moments like that?
I think what was crazy for me, and it was Monday night. It was Monday night in Lambeau. And I don't remember the result of the play, but I remember walking back to the huddle and I walked right past Reggie White. And just as
just could feel the aura,
dude.
Like, it's the minister of defense right there.
And so
I hope that guy doesn't get his hands on me. God damn.
No, because there's already a clip of him throwing Chris Carter out the way. He's trying to chip the edge, but I think. Imagine that throw. But I think that was a moment for me. I think that just not looking at the actually the stats and the yards. I just think being able to look and seeing that I'm on the same football field as Reggie White. And then there was another clip of me talking about my coaches telling me, "Hey man, sit down, man, come and rest your legs." I was like, "No, that's Brett Favre. That's Brett Favre." So
we got to keep going.
So it's just crazy moments like that. I just remember Brett Favre being on the field, Barry Sanders being on the field, and then walking past Reggie White as a rookie. So it's kind of like the guys you grew up watching, and now you're on the field playing against them or with them. That's probably my surreal moments.
Oh yeah,
heck yeah!
I had one of those surreal moments when we played the Patriots for the first time. I saw Tom Brady in person, man. Live in action in his super suit, wearing the 12, man. How was it when you went to the Patriots? Was it a night and day like difference from anywhere you had ever been, or what was it like meeting Tom for the first time?
Dude, we can have fun on y'all's podcast all day, but check this out. So y'all know,
You're the best.
So Saturday night before the game, we're in a hotel, we're the visitors, right?
Yep.
So we're on 2 floors, and you got the security on both floors and all this crazy stuff. So we're the Raiders. We play on Sunday. I fly back to Minnesota. So one of my former teammates is at the hotel getting ready for the Monday night. Well, guys, I drive down to their hotel, sneak in the hotel, and go up the exit stairs and get up on their floor. All right.
Okay.
Jason, you're looking at me like, Randy, like, what is this, Randy? So
yeah, right. Yeah.
There are probably 4 or 5 hours before they go to the stadium on Monday night. I sneak in their hotel, meet Brady for the first time, Trav. Meeting for the first time. And I said, look, dude, I'm going to cut straight to it. I said, dude, I want to play with you. Whatever you can do to get me up here, do it. So the next thing you know, I dapped him up, gave him some love, walked out. That night, I watched the game. Brady's first time ever in his career, he throws 5 touchdowns against the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm sitting up there thinking, "Ooh, I might have rubbed off on Brady a little bit. I might have rubbed off on." So,
oh no!
So being given the opportunity to get traded from Oakland to the Patriots, the number one thing that I wanted to do, Jason Travis, offensive players, I wanted to know everything that Brady knew as far as Jason, the checks. When I'm hot, when it's a sight, when you're changing the protections, giving me everything that Brady knew I wanted to know. Because if it had something to do with me, I wanted to hit the ground running. Okay?
Man.
Sure. Yeah.
And
It's
so,
crazy.
and I had high expectations and end up getting a hamstring injury that forced me out of preseason. And so actually my first actual game going out here really doing it was week 1 against the Jets. And so, like I said, I was coming off a hamstring injury. But anyways, the rest is history about the 23 touchdowns and the record-breaking season. But like I said, I just wanted to know everything that Brady actually or possibly knew that could help my game out.
Not enough guys play this game through the eyes of the quarterback, man. It's crazy how much you can benefit off of understanding the whole grand scheme of things. And, I think even at a young age, man, I like playing quarterback, I felt like helped me out so much more because I understood the progressions. I understood, where that position's eyes were before every single snap. Man, that's awesome to hear, brother. That because it really did seem like you guys were in sync, especially if somebody was playing too low or a safety came down, or you already know it was up top all season that year.
I got to ask you, while we're on this quarterback receiver dynamic, quarterback receiver drama is like a tale as old as time. I remember playing freshman football. Trav hears me bring this up all the time. I'm wide open. I'm getting mad at, like, will you throw me the ball? Like, what is happening here? Why are you not so? I got it. When you're seeing quarterback receiver drama, are you always on the receiver side of things? Like, whose fault is it usually in your mind?
I think it's a 50-50. And and the reason why I say it's a 50-50 is because you take a guy like, I'm going to give you just a prime example of what we're looking at right now. You take a guy like Aaron Rodgers, okay?
Yeah.
And it's like Aaron Rodgers has some bad throws where he looks, where he might throw the ball to bad throw. And then, like, it's nothing. No body language, no emotion, okay? Then all of a sudden, the very next play or a couple plays, the receiver drops the ball. Now Aaron is all like,
yeah. So, he's pissed.
Yeah, he's pissed. So, like I say, not singling Aaron out because, I mean, he's had a phenomenal career and doing some great things. But when you look at, to answer your question, Jason, I think it's just a 50-50 split because we have our times, Trav, where we're not in the right place or, we might have went too far that the quarterback wasn't expecting us to be. But at the same time, they could get rushed and try to get the ball out of their hands. But to that point, in the history of the game, Trav, you and Pat, as far as the anticipation of he knowing where you're going to be before you even turn your head or get out of your break, that should be studied. And I
seriously,
no, and I really mean that. And I'm not saying it just because you're sitting here on this podcast, because
I appreciate that, Randy.
You talk about the art and the science of sports, but at the same time, that quarterbacks are really made when you want to say, "Hey, I want to see my wide receiver create separation and get open." No, Patrick knows what the route is, when you're going to stop, your body language, and like I say, that's one of the most beautiful things to see when it comes to quarterback receiver combination is that of what you guys created, man. I tip my hat to that.
Man, that means the most coming from you, big guy. And I'll tell you what, man, sometimes he surprises the shit out of me. I don't know, because I'll turn my head around and maybe break off my route different, or maybe even just run a completely different route than what's called.
Right.
Pat is just right on cue, right on the money every single time, man. He just knows. That's what happens when you golf together and you play drinking games together, man. You just you sit down and have a beer with the guy, you start to get in his head.
Well, let me ask you, just football talk. Like I told you, we could do this all day.
All day, baby.
Just our position. when it comes to the chemistry that you guys, between you and Patrick, that you guys created, how did y'all create that chemistry, bro? I mean, like, I know that you're going to say practice. I know, no, it's not just practice. Like, what type of belief did, like, y'all's conversation, like, how did y'all make that? Talk to me, man. Tell me.
You already know.
Yeah,
I think
I like this.
you already know. It's over. It's all the reps. It's all the reps. But at the same time, I think there is just a natural understanding of backyard football. Like Pat'll tell you from the get go. I came into this thing with Alex Smith. He's more 7-step. That ball's coming out. You know what I mean? And you got to be there. Pat's kind of like, yeah, I'm around my 7-step, but I could, airtime on it, do something with my feet. My 7-step might not be, I might stretch my drop this time. So his timing is more just feel out the game. And I kind of have that similar timing as well. And I remember I went up to Pat one time and was like, all right, man, if they go this coverage, I'm going to run it like this. I'm going to run it like that. Hey, what do you think if I give him a nod here and take an extra like tick to get out of my break? He was just like, nah, man, just get open. Just get open. I'll throw it when you get open.
That's crazy.
He was just like, bro, the guy he's trusting me to get open. He said, I don't care how you run this route. You just get open and that ball is going to be there on time.
And it really shows that, not trying to throw it. And Jason, I'm not going to leave you out, my brother. When I look at your game, I looked at more of your game toward the end of your career. And the reason why is because both of you guys toward the end of at the end of your careers, you were playing at a high level. So they both basically put the Kelce brothers together. And I would have to ask Jason, when we talk about gelling, when we talk about chemistry, throughout your whole career, who is that player? And it probably is going to have to be a guard that you would say, hey, dude, I would just have to give him this look and he already know we're going to maul whoever's in the front of. Who is that player in your career that you just, it's not even word, it's a look. Who is that player?
That's tough. I had so many of them. I would say the guy that I knew, like we didn't even need to communicate. We were just always on the same page, is probably Brandon Brooks. Like Brandon Brooks, who he won a Super Bowl with us, and he had a shorter career. He was incredible. He was big, strong, and he had a good feel for the game. He was an athlete playing offensive line.
Oh, wow.
The best lineman I played with, like Howard Mudd used to teach the game, like, what's pass blocking? He'd be like, how do you play basketball? Just the quarterback's the hoop. Just keep him in front of you. I'm like, Coach, I need some more technique. I need you to give me something more than that. Guys that conceptualize the game like that were the most fun to play with. When you play with guys that were too robotic and too much like an offensive lineman, it was harder to adjust to the in-game stuff happening, if you know what I mean. Like, I didn't even need to say something to Brandon. We just both knew with this guy in this position, the linebacker right there, that we were going to hit the block this way.
Right.
Like, why else wouldn't we hit it that way? But another guy you might have to communicate with throughout the week, like, hey, we really need to take this one more vertical. Or, hey, you take more of them. I'm going to push him on top of you because of this backer is going to fall off if he's in a stack position on this play.
Right.
But Brandon knew it. Isaac Sayamalu was another guy that knew that. The best field player I ever played with was Jason Peters.
Okay.
JP.
Okay.
JP, we would have an alert call. I'm not going to say it because they still use it, but he would alert me that there was edge pressure.
Okay.
And I'd be looking out there. There's no safety cap. And I'm like, man, how does this dude know that this pressure is coming? I'm like, whatever. I'm going out there. Sure enough, they bring the nickel, right? There's certain guys that just understand spacing and alignment.
Right.
And those guys were so valuable on game day, because you didn't need the coaching on the field. They just could go out there and play. And those are the guys that I always gelled with the best, for sure. Then Lane Johnson, I got to throw him up there too. That was like my second brother for a long time in Philadelphia. Like he got drafted 2 years after me. We did our whole career together, still doing his thing out there.
Right.
I just didn't do a lot of communicating with Lane. Lane was more all the way out there on the edge. It was more like you said, guards.
Well, I got to ask you guys, I know this is y'all's interview, but, I've asked it, and I know Trav, I know everybody's speculating. Jason, you first. I know what I missed when I told the people that, I was going to hang it up, and I remember crying. And my wife, I remember hearing the car door slam, and my daughter and my wife came in, and I had to, wipe my face and do all that
Yeah,
crazy
you already
stuff
know.
because I didn't even want to see. I didn't want it. I did not want my wife to see, like, baby, what's wrong with you? Nothing.
Yeah.
So I think to my point, to my question, Jason, when it was time for you to call it quits, what's the number one thing in your mind you knew you were going to miss about the game?
I knew I was going to miss competing and playing and game day. What I didn't know I was going to miss was the locker room. And everybody tells you you're going to miss it,
Oh
but it's
man,
hard until you remove from it
yeah,
that you really understand that there ain't anything else that's replicates this. Like guys from all over the country, you're coming together for a specific task, and
yeah,
it's just that ends up being for sure what I miss the most is just being in the locker room with the guys. And I purposely go back still to try and get that. But yeah, I think that's and then I also miss the regimentedness of it.
right.
Does that make
right.
sense? Like
Yeah,
I mean, I'm happy I don't have it, but I also, there was a there was a productivity in my own head that I knew every day I'm going to go in, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to lift and I'm going to watch tape and then I'm going to go out and dominate on game day and I'm going to do it with my boys.
right.
That's the way I would answer it.
No, that was mine because I'd say there's all types of things that you could actually say, but I think for mine was the locker room itself, seeing your brothers, men from different walks of life that you're coming together for one cause. So, like I said, for me, Trav, the reason why I asked that because like I said, I know the time is coming. I don't know when, but I know, the time is coming. I don't know if this was the last or if it wasn't, but if this was the last, what do you think that you'll miss most about, the game?
Man, I think it's just those moments in the big games, man. The feeling of having to rise to the occasion, be there for 70,000 that are all counting on you out there, outside of just the guys that you go to war with, or you guys you go to battle with, man. Those moments of rising to the occasion in the heat of the battle, in the playoffs and all the big games out there, man. That's a feeling that I know I'll never get again. And
Right.
I think that's something that, those are the things that you cherish the most. And especially, if you're fortunate enough to be in the playoffs and make runs at it, man, the satisfaction that you get and the successful feeling you get of all the hard work that you put in, it's finally paying off. And I think that'll be one of the things I miss the most, man, for sure.
Well, look, I know I don't know how much time we got, but mine, from a football standpoint, when we talk about a moment, Jason, you talked about the competing part. I had a 14-year career and, I've had a lot of moments, but I think really the 23 touchdowns is, I think the moment for me, because being a kid, Trav, is more like seeing Jerry Rice. I mean, Herman Moore was a big, tall receiver that Barry Sanders had in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing guys like that I grew up and then coming into, that's why I was just telling you guys of what it felt to me just seeing Myles Garrett break that single season sack record. Because like I said, it's not an individual thing, but when you have an opportunity to go break a record, as an individual, that was my, moment, surreal moment for me of all the hard work that I put in. Jason, out of your whole career, there's one defining moment for you. Not the Eagles, not the media. For you as a ball player, what's your defining moment throughout your professional career that you that you can hang your hat on?
We had a lot of successful years where running backs had a lot of yards. You kind of take that a little bit like I had something to do with that, right? Like you bring up the touchdown record that you hold or that you broke. Like it is an individual record, but it is kind of a team record too. Like,
right, no doubt.
There are other people, and that's the greatest thing about this game.
Right.
But I would say, honestly, for me, I had an awful season in 2016, played like trash, right? Like almost got cut from Philadelphia. A lot of people don't even remember it. Philadelphians do probably. But the next year, I put a lot of work in the offseason. I started getting better with my technique. And it was like everything clicked so much better that year. I made my first All-Pro.
Okay.
Like that season following me having just an awful year really catapulted me into what ended up being my career.
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So it's
hell
like,
yeah.
this was really the defining moment was the response I had to almost getting cut, almost like everybody thinking I'm on my way out of the league. Fuck that. I'm going to go in here. I'm work my ass off.
Right.
I studied my technique, got better with my leverage. And I came back and it was the best year of my career. And we happened to win a Super Bowl on top of it.
Okay.
So 2017, I was on cloud nine. So I didn't break a touchdown record, but I broke the Jason Kelce record for offensive line play. That was
There you go.
That's it for me. Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead, Jay.
For me, oh man, I'd say the coolest moment was being on the mountaintop with Jason, man, playing in the Super Bowl against the Eagles the first time and being at the Super Bowl with Jason, having our family kind of get put on a pedestal. Our mom was the NFL mom of she was on every TV screen left and right.
Yeah.
Because their two boys were playing each other in the Super Bowl, man. That was when I look back on some of my favorite memories, man, being on the field, both being captains there for the coin toss, looking at each other from across the field, man. It's just it's a memory I'll never fucking forget. And that was definitely the pinnacle, man. The guy that I started doing this thing with when I was 5 years old in the backyard, just throwing the ball around.
I don't know if I've ever asked this. The first touchdown you scored against the Philadelphia Eagles, I know you remember it, Travis.
Yeah.
Was that like you taking out an entire frustration of being a younger brother in one moment?
Just getting my ass beat.
we got to pull up the highlight. This dude caught a shovel pass at like the 20.
Okay.
Went all the way
was in
down
Kansas City.
and jumped like he mossed into the end zone from the 5. Jumped into the end zone. I had never seen this, like 15 feet.
Randy, you know when you get the ball on a fast break and you just see the lane?
Yeah.
And you just like, I'm going up. I'm just
It was like Jordan, man. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, that was for getting my ass beat all those years when I was younger. I finally had a chance to make it even.
Yeah, he's officially way more athletic than I am. There's no question. All right, we got to ask you this. You brought up Philip a little bit earlier, Randy. Could you still moss somebody right now?
I joked with our ESPN Countdown crew, Rick, Alex, Teddy, and Greeny, Shefty every week. And, they sit up here and say, hey, man, you look like you can still play. I really believe the way that they changed the rules of the game, that I could really still go out there and give a team close to double-digit touchdowns. I really still believe that.
I mean, let's man.
I can still get up on the rim. I can still dunk a basketball. Okay.
Okay.
And so me just being able to go up and just use my hand-eye coordination and body control. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because I sit up here and talk about you got mossed every week, and I talk about the DB not getting his hands around, and talk about the hand-eye coordination that the wide receiver needs. I think that's very important, as you get older, no matter, how old you get. Like Mike Evans is still out here making plays. And you think about it. Mike Evans was not always the fastest wide receiver, but as far as his athletic ability, his hand-eye coordination, put it in his vicinity. So to answer your question, I still think I can still go out here and maybe get close to, 10, 11 touchdowns a season.
Would you be open to it? If a team called, is Randy answering the phone?
Where I'm at right now, as far as, my, happily married, my kids are thriving and, doing their things. I think for me, it would have to be the right call, the right team. Because the only thing I'm really missing right now is a Super Bowl ring. So if the right call and the right opportunity came and the team gave me an opportunity to come out there, just be a red zone threat, I could put that 84 back on once more time.
Let's go, man. Are you kidding me, man? You're getting me hyped just thinking about you doing this, man. This shit's epic, man. Look what Phillip Rivers got everybody thinking. We just one more, baby, just one more.
Phillip Rivers had everybody around here. He had people like had Cam Newton cutting up on his podcast. He had everybody around that played the game of football really thinking they could put some WD-40 on them joints and still come out here and make something happen. So
I love it, man. Are there any quarterbacks right now that you're like, man, I would go crazy playing with that guy?
Quarterback wise, there's a lot of quarterbacks that I like, and the reason why, Travis, just because the game has changed.
Oh yeah,
so much of guys just been in the pocket, but Pat is phenomenal, and not just going back there just slinging the ball. one of the things that you said about your quarterback, and I'm not just saying it because we're sitting on this podcast. I just think that a quarterback being able to buy time for his pass catcher is very important. You have guys coming through here like Jason. I remember you telling the stories about you going against Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
All of them. I mean, guys are so bigger, faster, stronger now in this day and age in this game, and having a quarterback to be able to give you a little bit more time to work your craft is what I look at right now. And I think that if you're just talking about three quarterbacks that comes to mind, I love Joe Burrow's game.
Yeah.
I love Patrick Mahomes' game. And then, of course, I think it'd be, a guy like Josh Allen. I love his game.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
But like I say, I just think just more of the quarterbacks being able to buy some time because I say, you're getting double, you're getting triple. Well, let me work through this double and this triple coverage. And like I say, Trav, you've done it plenty of times. So to answer your question, I think those three guys really stand off the charts right now.
That'd be a good one right there.
Is it true you never stretched on game day?
The thing about stretching on game day was this. And hopefully you guys can definitely attest to this. It's kind of more like getting down and touching your ankles or, loosen your hamstrings up. That's not the stretch that I meant. Meaning that if I see you across the room from me, Trav, and you're sitting over there bumping in your headphones, well, I'm a bump with you. Then all of a sudden we're going to start jumping around. Before we know it, we're both sweating. So basically, that's what I meant, that I don't stretch on game day. I rely on my brothers to help me stretch. So it's just more on the jumping around that we do all the, I don't really, well, I mean, some guys have a little false enthusiasm in there, but like I say, it's just more like getting around your brothers and us, bringing the energy out of one another.
Bringing
That's
the
my
energy,
stretching.
baby.
That's my stretching.
You got to do it together too, man. You can't just let one guy try and be it, man. Everybody's got to bring it. We got one more for you, though, big dog. And then we'll let you get out of here. As someone who's perfected the lateral, I've taken notes from the legends of this game.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
You have one of the most iconic football plays of all time. Can you walk us through that whole play? Was that like a designed situation or?
No, it was really we were playing the Broncos at home. And I remember, of course, the last play. And I think that at the time, my quarterback, Dante always had a strong arm. But I think in that case, I don't think that Dante could have got it to the end zone from where we were. So he rolled out to the right. And I remember that it was more like just 11 guys, playing heads up football. Because like Jason, you said, it's not the moment, it's everybody doing their job. So yes, I know that I got the, recognition from throwing it on my head. But Jason, where would I be if you guys, my offensive line at the time, would not have held it up for Dante, the offensive line, the running backs protecting. And that, like I say, a lot of the things that we accomplish, on the football field has to do with 10 other guys. That's why I've never ever singled myself out as an individual, no matter what the play looks like. I know that 10 other guys have to do their job for me to accomplish mine.
Iconic, dog.
There's been a lot of 10 other guys accomplishing jobs in the NFL. Nobody has ever lateraled a ball like that, bro. That's all I know.
And nobody ever played the game like Randy Moss, baby. Randy, thank you so much for joining us, dog.
I do not want to get crazy on the ending of this show, but to let you guys know what being on this show really means to me, you already know what I was battling, throughout, my cancer and just coming up on my 1-year anniversary. I told you guys about my brother and what, my brother went to Ohio State. My brother ended up dying. I went to the Hall of Fame in 2018. All right. My brother passed away in 2019 and, things wasn't, great as the relationship. When I tell you guys, when I look at you guys and see the things you guys love in your relationship, when I say that I get jealous about it, it's not a jealousy. It's more on that I wish I would have had that type of relationship with my brother. And the reason why I'm telling you this, because I remember after y'all's game, Trav, you came up and kissed your big brother on the cheek. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Dude, I remember
if there's anybody in all of sports history, football, basketball, anything that really felt that, Brotherly love. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, you guys, where's it at? Y'all give me some, man.
No,
Y'all
man, I
give me
love you,
some.
dog.
Come
You
on
already
Much
know
now.
love
them.
to y'all, bro. Hey, congratulations on your success, man. This podcast and your career, man. Thanks for having me on, guys. Much love to you.
God damn, man. Just a special dude, man.
The best.
Another Kelce has entered the podcast world, with Jason Kelce's daughter, Ellie, interrupting the latest episode of New Heights. AS Jason and his younger brother Travis were chatting with retired NFL player Randy Ross for New Heights' March 4th episode. Ellie unexpectedly appeared in the background of Jason's shot. The 5-year-old was spotting a gymnast and appeared to be struggling to put on a winter coat. Is Ellie in the background? Jason asked while Travis was seen laughing. This is so funny. Travis responded. Jason went on to ask Ellie, "Can you go upstairs, girlie?" To which the little girl shook her head no. Going along with Ellie's adorable antics, Jason said, "Say hi to the greatest receiver to ever play football." Ellie then put on her father's headphones, waved at the camera, and said, "Hi, Randy Moss." Moss declared, "How are you?" Despite her leaving the camera view, Ellie popped back up and said, "Love you, Uncle Travi. Love you, Randy Moss." Jason was then seen laughing as he tried to usher Ellie out of the room. Ellie's appearance on the New Heights podcast comes just days after Jason's wife, Kylie, spoke about how she and the retired NFL player parent their children in the technology and social media world. "We are really the first generation that's had access to social media for as long as we have," she told People. "And during our developmental years, so we are big proponents of not allowing our kids to have that, especially when they're young." She then said, "I think it's our job as parents to let our kids be kids," she added. "Kids are meant to play. They aren't meant to be taking on the weight of the world or deal with comments online, or feel that they're not living up to this aesthetic lifestyle they see." Kylie went on to say, "So, in an effort to protect our girls, I think we will make a conscious effort to make sure they get to play and enjoy life and really, truly lean into being kids." Travis Kelce is already thinking about his life post-NFL. Though the 36-year-old Kansas City Chiefs tight end hasn't yet confirmed whether or not he's planning to play another season, he opened up about what he'll miss when he eventually retires during the most recent episode of his podcast, New Heights. "Man, I think it's just those moments in the big games, man," Travis shared with retired NFL star Randy Moss on the Wednesday, March 4th episode of his and brother Jason Kelce's New Heights podcast. "The feeling of having to rise to the occasion, B. Therefore, 70,000 that are all counting on you out there, outside of just the guys that you go to war with, you guys go to battle with, man." Travis, who has played in 5 Super Bowls and won 3, added, "Those moments of rising to the occasion in the heat of the battle, in the playoffs and all the big games out there. Man, that's a feeling that I know I'll never get again. And those are the things that you cherish the most." He continued, "And especially, if you're fortunate enough to be in the playoffs and make runs at it, man, the satisfaction that you get and the successful feeling you get of all the hard work that you put in is finally paying off. And I think that'll be one of the things I miss the most, man, for sure." Jason, 38, who retired from the Philadelphia Eagles in March 2024, said that since he's left the field, he's been surprised by what he actually misses the most. "I knew I was going to miss competing and playing in game day," Jason explained. "What I didn't know I was going to miss was the locker room. And everybody tells you you're going to miss it. But it's hard until you're removed from it that you really understand that there ain't anything else that's replicates this." The father of 4 admitted that he purposefully still visits the locker rooms to try and get that again. Jason also added that he misses the regimented nature of playing in the NFL. "I'm happy I don't have it, but there was a productivity in my own head that I knew every day I'ma do this, and I'ma do this, and I'm gonna lift, and I'm gonna watch tape, and then I'm gonna go out and dominate on game day, and I'm gonna do it with my boys," Jason said. Travis' contract with the Chiefs ends this month, and fans are waiting for him to make a decision on whether or not he plans to return. The team's general manager, Brett Veach, previously discussed Travis' potential retirement during a press conference in February. "I think we've kind of taken a different approach with Travis in the sense that I think we've kind of prepared for either scenario," Veach said at the time. "Travis is the best, he's an icon. Hopefully he comes back and we'll just kind of let that process play out."